Now, let's learn about your role in broadband availability from Alabama Rural Electric Association's VP of Public Affairs, Sean Strickler, and Julia Young, CAEC's VP of Administrative Services.
Hi, welcome to this segment. I'd like to also welcome Sean Strickler. We're happy to have you today.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is our first real virtual annual meeting. You guys are doing a great job.
It is. Well, thank you. So, Sean, we have a couple of video appearances, and I'd like for you to maybe let our audience know who they'll see in just a moment.
Well, if they're tuning into the videos like this or any type of webcast, they know that an election's coming up. And we've got the two running for the United States Senate, our incumbent Doug Jones and the Republican nominee Tommy Tuberville. What a huge opportunity for the members to be able to hear what these two candidates have to offer. And what a great get for Central Alabama. It just shows the importance of your co-op, of Central Alabama and their involvement with the community, that these two would take time out of their busy schedule with campaigning and Doug Jones running the country to cut a video to talk to all of your members. So
that's right. So without further ado, let's take it away.
Hey folks, really appreciate the opportunity to address the Central Alabama Electric Cooperative. I've met with you guys so many times. I appreciate all you do for rural Alabama, for the customers you serve, for everyone in your area. It is not just about the power. It is about community. And as you know, I've been working on rural broadband since I got elected to the Senate. I am so proud of the fact that that is something that all our rural electric co-ops are working on. It is incredibly important. From the time I first hit the Senate, it has been one of my number one priorities. We were able to get hundreds of $millions in the Department of Agriculture budget just for rural broadband last year, the year before. Since I got in the Senate, we put a lot of money in there. We've got more things pending right now, and it's going to be up to us to try to make sure it gets things done. This pandemic has really put a spotlight on the need for broadband across the state. Not just broadband, but good high-speed broadband that's not only accessible, but affordable. And that's where you guys come in. You're working every day to do just that. And I'm doing that too as your United States Senator. A couple of things that we've got going on right now. For instance, I'm a co-sponsor of a bipartisan bill called the Access to Broadband Act. That's going to kind of create an office that will put all the resources of the federal government into one area. It's kind of like the way FDR did the Rural Electric Cooperatives Administration, which I know you guys are familiar with. I want to see that with broadband, and I think that this Access Broadband Act will do just that. Try to make sure we streamline government to get broadband out there as quickly and as accessible and affordable as possible. Another thing that I worked on with, I think is going to help in the broader sector, is my healthcare manufacturing bill. You know, I've seen so many of our rural communities where there are empty buildings, empty factories of businesses that have left, gone overseas or whatever. We can bring healthcare manufacturing jobs back to Alabama, to America, if we do it the right way, if we provide healthcare incentives. I wrote a letter to the governor a couple of months ago when I saw the need, the long-term need for masks, for ventilators, for all of the things in the healthcare space. We've got so many things that we can do to repurpose old buildings, older factories to make healthcare manufacturing. So my healthcare manufacturing bill would do just that, give incentives to bring back those jobs to America. But it goes a little farther than just incentives to do it. It also provides money and incentives to communities for broadband, because we know how important broadband is going to be for businesses. It's not just healthcare and telemedicine, it is also the businesses. It is the new electricity, and businesses are going to be required to have it. Folks, recently I was really proud to support legislation that's really going to give electric co-ops like yours the flexibility to meet current economic needs. In this pandemic, everybody is under stress. We've got a bill that will help with restructuring loans, doing those kind of things that will help you, save you money, and help us get through this pandemic. Everything that you stand for, everything that your business stands for, everything that your community stands for is something I have been fighting for every day since I got in the United States Senate. Not a day goes by, folks, where I'm not talking about rural health care, where I'm not talking about broadband, where I'm not talking about maternal health care and infant mortality, where I'm not talking about businesses coming in to the rural parts of Alabama, not just our big urban centers. We've got to lift all boats. That's what I've been doing. I was very proud, I don't know if you guys knew this, that the United States Chamber of Commerce recognized me as one of the most bipartisan senators and also gave me the Abraham Lincoln Award for support of the free enterprise system. Now, candidly, in light of all those crazy TV ads you're seeing these days, please remember that when you're seeing it, that the Chamber of Commerce says I'm a champion of the free enterprise system. I'm very proud of those awards. I'm very proud of the work we're doing and the record that we have there. And I'm so happy to have been invited to speak to you today and having met with you guys and appreciate all the work you're doing. You know our office is always open. I need your help. I'm looking forward to another 6 years working with all the rural electrics in Alabama to do all that we can for the rural parts of our great state. Thank you all very much. Have a great virtual meeting.
Hello, Coach Tommy Tuberville, U.S. Senate candidate for the state of Alabama. You know, I'm a Christian, conservative Republican. I believe in the United States of America. I believe in our Constitution. I believe that this country was built on Christian values, moral values. The three things that I truly believe in this country that we've got to get back to is self-responsibility, moral values, and work ethic. And it starts in education. So I'm a true believer in the country, in the state of Alabama. I believe we've got a lot of problems, but I still believe that if you're born in this country, you hit the lottery, because there's no better place on the face of the earth than the United States of America. Broadband is the future of this country and the entire world. You've got to be connected, but everybody's got to be connected, not just a few. We have 800,000 people in the state of Alabama today that are not connected to the internet, that have no broadband. And until we get the opportunity for each and every citizen in the state and in this country to be connected, you're going to have groups of people that are going to lag behind in education, in business, in anything that they try to do. So it is important everybody has the same opportunities. I used to tell my players this in football. Everybody wanted an edge. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, this country owes you one thing. It owes you an opportunity. And that's the reason we need to give everybody the same opportunity, whether it's education, business, communication, working with different people, with different groups, doesn't make any difference. Everybody needs to be able to be connected virtually and also to the internet and anything else that is invented in the near future, because this stuff this broadband that we're with today changes constantly. I think as U.S. Senator, we're going to have a huge impact on broadband and anything that happens virtually for young people from now on. And again, it's going to change daily. I talked to a CEO in one of the major technology corporations just recently, and he basically said, Coach, we've just invented the wheel when it comes to the internet and to technology. Things will change, and it's going to change by the minute, and it's going to give our kids and the people of this country and around the world to be connected better, more often, more quickly, and to learn from each other. So I think it's important for a U.S. Senator to get involved in internet all across the country, rules and regulations. I think there's going to be a huge talk about that in the future in Washington, D.C. I think state government's mostly important when it comes to getting broadband put down in the counties and the cities and the rural areas and urban areas in the state of Alabama. That's going to be their number one priority, and should be. But I think U.S. Senators, in terms of grants and opportunities to be able to get money to come to the states to help in any way in some of the tougher areas, which we have some tough areas in this state to get broadband to, I think that could be addressed from Washington, D.C. Broadband in the rural areas is going to be a major factor in the recovery from this virus. Thing you got to remember too, this is one virus. There's thousands of them out there. When's the next one going to hit? So we got to continue to lean on communication in the rural areas for farmers, for small business, for manufacturing. That's going to come back hopefully from China and other foreign countries in the next few years when President Trump gets reelected. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities, but again, the communication of people in the rural areas to people in the urban areas is vitally important, and it all starts with broadband.
So Sean, I feel like we were very privileged to have comments from both of our Senate candidates, but tell me, why is our Senate race so important?
Well, Julie, it's not just our Senate race and these candidates that are important. The United States Senate, as many say, it's the club of 100. It's the 100 most powerful people, not in this country, but in the world. They govern everything that goes on for the most powerful nation this world has ever seen. So this one's important, but they're all important. So we need our folks to go out and vote. Rural America, they were the deciding factor in the last election, the presidential election. They probably will be again in this presidential election. This one coincides with what we're going to see in November, and I hope you all enjoyed those videos, because everyone watching this is going to see nothing but videos like this until November.
That's true. That's true. Well, so tell me, how do we, as citizens, and particularly the co-op members, how do we make sure that our voice for rural Alabama is there at the table?
Well, you know, we've got to go out and we've got to raise our voices and we've got to be heard. One of the things that we can do is we can be involved in a political action committee. We can be involved, just like what we had, the Action Committee for Rural Electrification, which unfortunately the media is given a bad name. The media says, oh, it's a PAC, they bribe, they do this. No, what a PAC is a political action committee of a group of people that have a common interest. The Action Committee for Rural Electrification has a common interest of rural Alabama and rural America. What we do is we go out and endorse candidates and be involved in elections for people who understand our program and understand our plight. Things are tough in rural America right now.
That's true.
It's the first time in our country's history we've seen rural communities lose population.
Right.
We've got to be involved at every level. We've got to be involved at the grassroots level, where those of you that are watching this can reach out to your senators, your House members, and talk to them about the issues that are important to you. We as cooperatives need to talk to our senators and to our House members at the federal and state level. You know, we've got their ears, you can tell by the videos that we've gotten. We're an important player with them, but we have to stay involved. We have to stay abreast of the issues.
We do. And speaking of that, we're right there at the table year before last, or last year, I guess, when ACRE helped us, along with other friends and partners, but we were there for the broadband bills that were up before our state legislature.
Well, not only were we up front, we were in charge. We were leading the charge to try to make sure that you guys had the opportunity to be able to create central access. House Bill 400, the High-Speed Internet Accessibility Act, Broadband Accessibility Act, created the way for central access to just be created in Central Alabama Electric Cooperative, to be able to go out there and bring high-speed internet to the members out there. Obviously, it's important because your first virtual annual meeting's got 2 segments on it. So it was a big deal, and it was a great opportunity to be a part of. And you know, not only House Bill 400, but Senate Bill 90. It changed the way the grant process at ADECA is going, to where we have the ability to go out into these rural areas where for-profit companies, it doesn't make any sense to provide internet to them. So through Senate Bill 90 and ADECA, the Department of Economic and Community Affairs, they've got a lot of grants that you guys know really a lot about.
We do. We got 8 of those grants that we applied for, over $4 million in grant funds that will be coming from the state of Alabama and helping us extend that broadband into the rural areas of our service territory. So we're very excited about it. That will get kicked off very soon. Those grant areas are in the engineering phase right now, so construction won't be too far behind.
Well, and the one thing the membership needs to know about with those grants is it's not just the state paying for it. The state in those grants, the most the state's going to pay is 35% of the entire grant project. So Central Access and Central Alabama Electric Cooperative have a lot of skin in the game.
We do.
You got to make sure that it's done right and done appropriately, and you know that we're out there doing what's best for the members and serving them and finding a way to bring them to the 21st century.
That's right. But there's also the federal grants. We've applied for some federal grants. One, the Reconnect program, and then the RDOF grants as well. So we don't know the answers to those yet. We haven't heard yet, but we've got the bid in.
Well, we're hoping that these new grants with the RDOF and the Reconnect are much more effective than some of the grants that we've had in the past. There's billions of dollars that are going to be spent over the next 10 years through these grants to bring high-speed internet to rural areas. But what a lot of people probably don't realize is there's been billions of dollars already spent to try to bring broadband to rural areas. But I think the programs that are in place now and the involvement of the co-ops is going to totally change the way that this is looked at. And I think we're going to be much more successful than we have been in years past. Well,
now the co-ops can actually apply for those federal dollars, which we were not allowed to do in earlier rounds.
Yeah. There are certain telecommunications companies out there that had a little upper hand, as you might say, with these grants. But these grants are going to be effective. We're going to see more and more cooperatives, more and more people involved in this doing the right thing.
Right, right. And so we have a new grant program that's fresh out of the book, you might say.
It is setting world records for government grants. It's the ABC for Students grant. It is using CARES Act money to pay for broadband access to students that get free and reduced lunch that are involved in that program. Started about 3 weeks ago and is going to come out of the gates where people will see it, whether or not they're eligible for that, I think next week.
Right. I think letters are supposed to go out from ADECA in just a couple of weeks. I mean, everybody will be notified in a few weeks. And, you know, so as we can connect to the home, fiber to the home, we'll have that opportunity to do so.
Well, and the one thing that we have to look at with broadband is not only accessibility through these ADECA grants for infrastructure, but affordability.
Right.
We need to make sure that everyone out there can afford this, because certain people shouldn't be able to get it and other people not.
That's true.
We've got to find ways as a society to make sure everyone has access to information.
Right, and it is through grant programs that we can do that. So I understand that we've got a couple of questions that have come in.
Yes, someone was asking, you guys discussed a lot about the national, with big Senate race coming up, but what can someone do locally at the individual level, especially with schools, the COVID, broadband not being available? What can the local person do here to make a difference?
Well, one of the things, as this segment says, everyone has a role in this. And so as far as the cooperative is concerned, I would encourage people to talk with their county commissioners, talk with their Board of Education, their superintendent, because we've been able to, in Elmore County in particular, to have a partnership where we're putting Wi-Fi access out there. So we can't get fiber to every home yet, but we can help with some Wi-Fi areas in community places.
Well, the one thing at the state that they're doing is, I've mentioned this name before, is Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, ADECA. They've got a website up that will test the speed of your internet access, and that's where we find out where grants can go. So go to their website, just Google ADECA, go to their website and take that speed test. Let them know that
Right.
what they're saying you have isn't really what you have when it comes to internet access.
Right.
The other thing you'll find on that ADECA website is something that everyone needs to do. Take a few minutes and fill out your census form.
Yes.
Billions of dollars come to Alabama based on our population. And right now, it looks like we may not lose just one congressional seat, but if we're as low as we are right now with the return on the census, we could lose two.
I know.
That's a big deal.
It is. It is. Thank you so much for joining this segment. And Sean, thank you for being here with our virtual meeting.
Thank you for the
Thanks.
opportunity.